Manchester United 2, Chelsea 1. The pressure has been relieved for Ruben Amorim. I'm joined by Tom. First of all, Tom, what's your overall feeling after that game?
Just feels like it's nice to have like a normal review, because not every game should need like a big, an inquest. And where do we go from here? And I don't think that's needed today. I don't think it was. We talked about maybe getting a statement win when things transpired in the first few minutes of the game, but I think weighing it all up with the conditions, with the way it went, obviously the red card for us. It's nice to get out there with the win. I thought we deserved it.
Yeah.
Positive.
It's 3 points. Do you feel relief though, Tom, with all the pressure that's been going on? You've kept more of a sort of like neutral, sort of positive head, if anything. Towards.
I just think we're dead early in the season.
Yeah.
Like Tottenham are second, I think, in the table. I think Tottenham have been poor so far, but it depends who you've played.
Yeah.
You get a couple of results. We've not had the rub of the green, and as well as one, maybe poor performance. But I thought we were worth the 3 points today. Now we're up to 9. But you look at the table, it's for years, growing up and stuff. People use the same cliche. We'll look at the table, but there's no point at this, point in time.
Yeah.
But it's felt like there's a narrative building around Man United, which I just couldn't really square with so early in the season. Look, we've got, who is it next? Brentford away. If we go there and we don't play well, we have a poor performance, poor result, it's straight back to we've got problems here, and that's the nature of where we're at the moment. So we're not out of the woods by any respect. We need to put a couple of results together and start to feel, we need to feel comfortable up, high up the table there in that 7th position, and then maybe you can use it as a springboard when, late after Christmas. But getting very far ahead there.
Yeah.
This is 3 points in a game where you felt that I was reluctant to say it was a must-win before the game. But with the pressure he was under, you see now you mentioned a few of the comments that there's still a bit of negativity, and so what would that have been had we conceded an equaliser at the end there? What would it have been? I think it would have been. It gets toxic.
It's strange, isn't it? I don't think it's the same in any other club. Is that when United lose games, it magnifies and amplifies so much.
Yeah.
But when they win, we don't put it up with the same sort of revere or focus. But you mentioned rub of the green. 5 minutes in, United started well before their keeper got sent off, but it was definitely a sending off.
I thought so. I know you mentioned that Alan Smith was having a little go on commentary, but I think it was, the keeper's just got caught. Sanchez, he's got that in him. He's once he's gone for the ball, he's got to make the challenge, and then Burmo does well to just flick the ball around and take the challenge. That's a bit of luck that we needed, and then from then it was about, can we capitalise on that bit of luck? And one goal, wouldn't have been enough. We put the pressure on. We got balls in the box. We got bodies in there. We were winning second balls. There's a really good appetite to go after the game in that first half. I know Chelsea were a bit of a shambles with making lots of substitutions, but we've gone and we took. It wasn't a penalty. We still had to. We were still 0-0 at that point. We had to go and score 2 goals, and we put ourselves in a position where, we did get caught in the second half, but it was a difficult game to play that second half. Chelsea were always going to have a bit of the ball. We'll probably come on to it in a minute, the nature of the goal that we conceded, but it happens. But we put ourselves in that position where we were 2 goals up in a game. We took that bit of luck and we've turned it into 3 points. Yeah,
and I mentioned in the watch-along is that a lot of people say that playing against 10 men can sometimes be more difficult than playing against 11. And United have characteristically struggled against low blocks. So we need to sort of up our creative game with that. And we didn't shy away from it at all. We were creating chance after chance. And there was lots of positivity. I thought Mazraoui down the right-hand side was really good today. What about Dorgu with the setups of the goals as well?
Well, Dorgu got dropped, didn't he, after the Grimsby game? And so it was just, what did he miss? Was it Burnley he missed?
Burnley, and then City didn't have a great game.
City didn't have a great game. Look, he's still a young player that's coming for not crazy money. He's at a point in his career where he's developing. I like a lot of Dorgu. I think it's been mentioned before that he's brilliant up until a point, but that's one side of his game that he needs to find a cooler head in the box. It was a good header. I don't think it was just sticking it back in there. He's put it into an area. That'll be good for him, because this formation is going to mean that he's often a player that's getting in positions where he's the final pass. So, it's good for him to get an assist, and he played well today.
Yeah, he certainly did. And obviously, with us having that man advantage, it allowed Bruno to express himself further at the field that he's been frustrated with. And obviously, he scored. And today, I think it's his 100th Manchester United goal, which is a testament to his career. But he had probably his best game in a United shirt this season.
Yeah, I think the red card helped him, didn't it? Because we noticed in the first half that Casemiro was looking after that space and Bruno was popping up everywhere. And he was. It's difficult to pick up in that point. It was really important that we did go after the game in that first half, because if we hadn't, you look at the way the conditions deteriorated. Even if Casemiro doesn't get sent off, if the game just went a bit flat, as we sometimes allow it to do, then I would have really worried in that second half. It was really nice to see us go after it, and Bruno was everywhere. He gets his goal. He comes in for a lot of criticism, doesn't he? Even at times I've been critical of him, and there has been that question as to whether, with the big bid that came in the summer, would it have been wise to take that at the point? But when you see him get us off, with that get us off and running today with that goal, and the way with that run in the second half where he takes it and he forces the corner, and he's getting so involved with the fans. The fans love him, and I think at this point in time, whatever the thoughts are with how Bruno fits this team going forward, I don't think now was the time to part ways with him. And I think he's, if we can get Bruno, playing and back to his best, he's massive for us.
It's like we were talking in the match build up. It's when players can play with freedom of expression and not try to worry too much about his position. And you wonder, because he is playing deeper, whether he's thinking too much about his role. And obviously he is in his element, and United thrive when he's up front and not having to think too much about what he does and just plays his natural game.
Wants to drift into these wide areas, doesn't he? Because we've got players in the box that now can score. We've got a massive centre forward. We're clearly getting bodies in the box, and what you saw, I know he popped up in the middle for the goal, didn't he? But a lot of the time he's that player that's loitering, certainly on the left, who wants to whip that ball back in. He wants to go and find the ball. He wants to go and link up in the channels. So it was nice for him. The red card allowed him to do that today. Obviously, that's not going to be the case every week. It's still potentially a little bit of a problem, because you've seen the best of Bruno today that's happened when circumstances have transpired for him to go and get a licence, whereas when he needs to be more disciplined, that's where the criticism of Bruno in that central midfield too comes. Yeah,
and one player that came under huge criticism from all quarters against Man City was Luke Shaw.
Yep.
And then he popped up like a salmon in the 6-yard box to assist. I think Maguire got the assist, didn't he? But it was Luke Shaw that got the header.
I don't know. I mean, I had to check, but I feel like maybe they gave it to Maguire initially. But from I've seen the replay, it's Shaw comes from out of shot, doesn't it? It's almost like that amazing Ronaldo against Roma. Where he's... But he just threw himself at it, and it's a bit of... I know Shaw didn't have a great game last week, but no one had a great game last week. Shaw is someone that, when fit, he's a very accomplished player. I know his career is divisive at Man United because, since that injury, he's had periods out. He's been part of some pretty difficult periods of the club, some bad performances, and there is a wisdom to say that we need to almost shed ourselves with the players that have been there for that. But I think a fit Luke Shaw is an asset to Man United, and I thought all the back three played well in that first half, because it was a big part of keeping that pressure on. They're asked to do a lot.
Yeah, it wasn't so much like defensive or stopping Chelsea's attack. It was pushing them. It was pushing them back, and that's something we struggle with in the.
Because we needed to make the pitch small and get balls into the box, because even in the first half, it was horrible to play in. The rain was teeming down, and it's just you need to be as attritional as possible to make it count, because it did descend into a bit of a farce at times in the second half. But it was nice to be able to do that from a position of 2 goals ahead. Yeah,
and then unfortunately, towards the end of the first half, Casemiro got a second yellow card.
What did you?
Where do you lie on that?
Thought my first look at the yellow card was the first one was that it was a bit. I thought it was a bit soft in the context of the game, because I thought he'd been letting a few things go. And it just seemed that he was straight on that, because as a referee, he's given, some big decisions have gone against Chelsea. And I thought maybe that was in his mind. That was slightly frustrating. And I don't know what you think, but I thought it was a soft second yellow.
Yeah.
I thought it's, referees, you don't give them a chance to level things up. He's put his hands on a player who is, he's not goal side very quickly. And then he plays the ball. I don't think there was any hint of a foul in terms of the way he plays the ball. It's the putting the hands on him. it's a bit stupid to give the referee a decision, and it's frustrating that he did that in stoppage time in the first half.
Yeah.
But I thought he was a little bit unlucky. I thought on, you know, I don't know, 8 times out of 10, maybe the referee gives him a warning.
If the keeper doesn't get sent off in the first 5
Yeah.
minutes of the first half, I don't think Casemiro
I don't think he
goes.
does get sent off.
No.
Yeah.
And then comparatively
Yeah.
compared to some of the other tackles, like I think in the second half, they were getting yellow cards thrown out left, right, and centre.
Yeah.
For maybe worse tackles than Casemiro.
Yeah.
I mean, that's everyone's frustration with refereeing. It's the lack of consistency.
I think knowing when it's going to be a huge point, you've got
Yeah.
to get them right. And I know a yellow card's a yellow card, but when a player's on a second, it happens a lot, doesn't it? Where
Especially in the conditions, though, as well.
yeah, you've got to kind of question. I mean, and I know later in the game, you know, once you've started booking everyone, it just every foul becomes a yellow, doesn't it? At that period of the game, I didn't think it was like that. He was letting things go, and he let a few things go for Chelsea players. So I thought the red card was absolutely nailed on for the keeper. You know, you can't argue with a goal, even though there's a big VAR check. So I don't think Chelsea were hard done by. But yeah, you've got a bit. I think you have to play. You know, the referee's got to play the conditions, but Casemiro's also got to play the circumstances. And at that point in the game, should he have been a bit cleverer?
Yeah, I mean, and for a player of his experience as well, you'd have hoped so.
Yeah.
But second half, obviously, it took the wind out of our sails a little bit, and you expect Chelsea with that to be reinvigorated and come out and attack us. But I think we were fortunate due to the amount of subs that Chelsea have made early in the first half. They didn't maybe have the attacking threat in the second. Overall, did you feel like we dealt with it?
I don't know how to play that game, really, because I think at the time, we were both happy with the way the game was going. You know, I don't think there was any call from certainly the fans or, you know, whether it's in the stadium or watching the game, that we needed to take any unnecessary risks to try and get a third goal. Chelsea was struggling for long, you know, I'd say for about half an hour in that second half, the water was so, you know, there's a lot of water underfoot. So at that point of the game, it was a bit dead. It was drifting. Chelsea was struggling. We had a good shape, and I thought we played the game exactly as we should. I think you'll probably, as I said, we'll come on to it. It's the nature of the goal they scored, isn't it? Because of what's happened there with the substitution. What did you make of that?
Yeah, well, a lot of people are coming in saying it was stupid to be substituting Harry Maguire for Euro. Ironically, before kickoff, everyone was saying, why are you dropping Euro for Maguire? So it's damned if you do, damned if you don't. And we don't know the sort of condition for Maguire and why he made the substitution. And I'm not too sure Euro got up to speed with the game, especially how it was played, because it was such an unpredictable game of football due to the state of the pitch. But what was frustrating from my point of view was that they'd had a goal disallowed in exactly the same sort of method previously. So you should be on your guard. They weren't going to score with some amazing sort of creative play down the middle. It was always going to come through set pieces. So you need to be a little bit more alive.
Definitely. I mean, obviously, we kept a good line for that first one, but it was a warning, wasn't it?
Yeah.
There's still a way into this game for Chelsea. And I think the frustration will come is that I think certainly for defenders, it's different for forward players, but for defenders, there's people do question that wisdom, don't they, of making substitutions, because they're settled, aren't they? They're settled with their relationships on the pitch. They're comfortable. They've been reading the game for an hour, and there has to be a reason to make that substitution. Now, I don't know what that reason would be. As you say, you don't know if Maguire had maybe made a complaint. He got caught, didn't he, on the halfway line and was possibly unlucky not to get booked. I don't know if Amorim's seen that. I don't know what's happened there, but he's made the change. We talked about players with legs coming onto the pitch. We know Yoro can cover the ground, but there is, you look at the goal, he was sleeping, wasn't he? It was Ahmad's going mad behind him. He's got two players. I don't know if he's able to communicate that, but Yoro has got sucked into where Delict is, and was it Chalobah has drifted into a space there where it's not like it's a great ball.
No.
It's just in an area where how you don't have someone, I really don't know. So that's a disappointment, the nature of the goal. But Chelsea were always going to come back into it. It was 10 against 10, and I think the reaction was quite professional. They got on it a little bit, didn't they? With Reece James, a few balls into the box. There was, what was it? 2-1, wasn't it? It was the one with Bayern where he palms it back in and we shit ourselves for a minute. But other than that, I thought it was okay, and we got the ball at the pitch. We looked after it, and you do what you have to do in them conditions. Yeah,
you certainly do. They sort of see it out, and I think before they got their goal, I was saying I just want a professional performance just to see the game out. Okay, they scored. We may have done in previous seasons, folded under that, and an equaliser would have become expected rather than us get the 3 points. But I mean, credit to Bayern. I watched him punch a ball out of the box today, which is almost miraculous in other games.
Well, I mean, as I said before about knowing his weakness, it's something that he'd be able to work on. And
once you've identified,
he must, because he's a tall player. Like he shouldn't be getting done in the manner that he has been. But yeah, I thought he did all right today, didn't he? He wasn't, you don't want. There's nothing really to talk about with Bayern Deer, which is how he wants it. You don't want to be talking about the goalkeeper every week. I'm sure that change will come at some point soon. I'd like to. You don't want to think that it's going to be after a howler. Because it's a shame to think that that's coming and it could cost us points, but it's the nature of where we're at. We've got a young goalkeeper that's you don't want to throw in necessarily. But yeah, I thought Bayern did okay today, and I thought the last 10 minutes after we did concede that goal, you could see there's no. I mean, Bruno's reaction after that little run. I don't think there's any hint of players not playing for this manager.
No, not at all.
I thought they understood how much the result meant today.
Yeah.
Performance was the most important thing for me. I don't know what you said before the game about how important the result was. It was, for me, it's always about that performance. Yeah. But with the opportunity we got, I thought you've got to get the. Yeah,
I mean, but once it would have been even to go and draw that game after they'd gone down to 10 men at 5 minutes, it would have been it would have been held this week for the amount of pressure. But yeah, I thought it's a great result, and I thought it was very professional regardless of the goal. And when you saw the likes of Cunha and Mount come on, it was very proactive in terms of pressing them as a line of defence, whereas previously when we were in them positions, it was all backs to the wall, and it wasn't that. And it was you seen Cunha, Mount, and Bruno towards the end bringing the ball towards them as a line of defence, which was really refreshing.
Yeah, you almost suck the ball into your own net, don't you? And look, it was scrappy at the end. Chelsea it was obvious what was going to happen when you get yourself within one goal. The aim of the game is clear: get the ball wide, get it into the box, try and cause some chaos, and hope something lands and you get an equaliser. It nearly did at one point, obviously. But yeah, I mean, obviously I'm going over what I've already said here. It's not with the way the game went, with the red card, with the nature of the conditions, it got a bit crazy. It's still a game that you'd like to think we can win from the position we have done, and we need more of them. We need to just be able to see games out. I didn't want it to be dramatic in the last minute. It was disappointing we scored and we didn't get the clean sheet, but we were quite comfortable in the last few minutes, keeping the ball in the corner. It's more of that.
It was nice to see. One last word on Matthijs de Ligt. I thought he was the man of the match for United today.
Yeah, I wasn't sure at the time that the shout came out, because I thought it was just with a difficult game. We'd done well in the first half attacking. Bruno had obviously got us on the way. I was thinking, maybe Bruno, but de Ligt had a really good game, and I thought after the shout for the past 20 minutes, he was the one that was. I think I noticed him even a bit more then. He cuts that one out for the corner, doesn't he? He was, he's so aggressive.
Yeah.
I said earlier that he's not a player that I've ever understood the criticism that he's come in for. I thought, he was great today. All round, there's no real criticism of any of the players, I thought.
And then moving forward for Amorim now, is this turn down the pressure kettle?
No.
It doesn't. Not a win, doesn't.
It doesn't. We've got. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we said it's Brentford and Sunderland, but then it's Anfield, isn't it?
Yeah.
I might be wrong on that, but Liverpool's coming up soon. Yeah, you need to go and get.
It's a great opportunity now, though, to get back-to-back wins that a lot of people are sort of alluding.
It's not a vintage Brentford at the minute. No. They've lost players. You're looking at that game as one that you can go and get. I know Chelsea went and they dropped points, didn't they, the other week? But at the very least, you're looking at it needs to be 4 points. But with the pressure he's been under, you've got to go away from home and start trying to win these games. These are the ones that where we've been. He's going to be judged by that this year.
Certainly is. Right, Tom, nice one. Thank you very much. Thank you,
mate.
everyone, for watching. I think Andy Tate's going to be doing a review soon, but we should be back another time.